The night was quiet and heavy. Sara sat by the window, staring into the darkness. Rain trickled down the glass, just like the tears on her face. On the table lay an old letter, yellowed and fragile. Her trembling fingers picked it up. The ink had faded, but the pain was still fresh. "I trusted your words, Ayan," she whispered. "I built my world around them. Why did you leave without saying goodbye?" She pressed the letter to her chest as the rain grew louder. That letter was once a promise, that love would never fade. But like the ink, that promise had also blurred with time. Far away, Ayan stood under the same sky. The same rain that touched her face soaked his shoulders. His eyes were filled with guilt and regret. "She still remembers," he murmured. "I thought time would heal her. But some wounds never close." Two hearts, bound by love, now drifted apart in silence. And tonight, that silence began to speak again. Sara sat in silence, staring at the letter. Her eyes caught something faint, a few hidden lines written on the back. Her heart skipped a beat. Slowly, she turned the paper and began to read. The words were shaky, filled with emotion. "Sara, if you ever read this, know that I never wanted to leave. I was forced to choose between your life and mine. Forgive me." Tears rolled down her cheeks. Her hands trembled as she pressed the letter to her heart. For years, she had lived with anger, but now, confusion and pain mixed within her. She whispered, forced. "What do you mean, Ayan? What happened that night?" Outside, thunder roared as if echoing her question. She stood up, her mind spinning, her heart racing. The pieces of the past were beginning to fit together. Meanwhile, Ayan walked along an empty street, drenched in rain. His voice was low and tired. "One day, she'll know the truth, but by then, it might be too late." Lightning flashed across the sky, and for a moment, both looked up at the same time, two souls separated by fate, connected by pain. The echoes of a broken promise had just begun to unfold. Sara couldn't sleep that night. The words from the letter kept replaying in her mind, "I was forced to choose between your life and mine." Her heart ached with questions that had no answers. She walked to the window and looked at the storm outside. The wind howled, as if nature itself carried the weight of her sorrow. She picked up her phone, scrolling through old messages from Ayan. Most were unread for years. Her fingers hesitated, then she opened one. It was a voice note, short and quiet. Ayan's voice echoed softly, "If someday I'm gone, remember, I did it to keep you safe." Her tears fell again. "Safe from what, Ayan?" she whispered. At that very moment, Ayan stood in front of an old building, the same place where their story had shattered. His clothes were soaked, but his eyes were fixed on the locked gate. Behind that gate was the truth he had buried for years. He clenched his fists. "It's time she knows," he said under his breath. "She deserves the truth, even if it destroys me." Lightning flashed, illuminating his face, tired, broken, but determined. Back in her room, Sara felt an uneasiness rise in her chest. Something told her that the silence of years was about to end. She looked once more at the letter and whispered, "Whatever you hid from me, I will find it, Ayan." The storm outside roared louder, marking the beginning of a truth that could change everything. Morning light broke through the gray clouds. The rain had stopped, but Sara's heart was still storming inside. She sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the letter once more. The inked words seemed to speak louder now, "I was forced to choose." She couldn't wait any longer. She wrapped the letter carefully and stepped outside. The roads were still wet, and the air smelled of earth and sorrow. She headed toward the old street where Ayan used to live, the same place where their story had begun, and ended. When she reached the gate of the abandoned house, her steps slowed. The walls were cracked, the paint had faded, and memories lingered in every corner. She touched the rusted gate and whispered, "You were here, Ayan, hiding all this time." A faint sound came from inside, a door creaking open. Her breath caught. She pushed the gate and walked in slowly. Dust floated in the air like ghosts of the past. Inside the hall, she found a small wooden box placed on a table. Her fingers trembled as she opened it. Inside lay a photograph of her and Ayan, smiling, young, and full of dreams. Beneath it was a folded paper. She unfolded it and read, "Sara, if you're reading this, then I couldn't come back. What happened that night wasn't an accident. Someone wanted to separate us. Someone close." Her eyes widened. "Someone close," she whispered. Her heartbeat quickened. Far away, Ayan stood near a quiet graveyard, staring at a single tombstone. His voice broke as he said, "I warned them, but they never stopped." The wind blew softly, carrying his words into the distance, perhaps toward her, perhaps toward the truth waiting to be revealed. Sara's hands trembled as she read the last lines of the letter. Her heart pounded louder than the wind outside. The words cut deep, "Someone close betrayed us." She looked around the empty house, feeling the weight of every shadow. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. An unknown number flashed on the screen. She hesitated, then answered. A familiar voice spoke softly, "Sara, it's me." Her breath stopped. "Ayan?" she whispered, her voice shaking. "Yes," he said, his tone tired but gentle. "I couldn't stay away anymore. You deserve to know the truth." Tears filled her eyes. "Why did you leave? Who wanted to destroy us?" There was silence for a moment, then Ayan spoke, his voice heavy with pain. "It was your father, Sara. He knew about us. He thought I wasn't worthy of you. That night, he warned me, leave or lose everything. I tried to fight, but when he threatened your life, I had no choice." Sara's world shattered. Her knees weakened as she sank to the floor. "My father," she whispered. "He destroyed everything, to protect me." Ayan's voice softened. "I stayed away to keep you safe, but every day felt like dying in silence. I never stopped loving you." Tears rolled down her face. "Where are you now?" Ayan hesitated. "Too far, Sara. My time is almost over. I just wanted you to forgive me." Her voice broke. "Don't say that, please. I forgive you, Ayan. I always did." The call ended. Only the sound of the wind remained. She tried calling back, but the number was gone. Days later, Sara went to the graveyard. A fresh grave stood before her with a name carved in stone, Ayan Rahim. She fell to her knees, her tears soaking the ground. "You kept your promise, even in silence," she whispered. The sun broke through the clouds, a single beam of light falling over the grave. In that moment, Sara smiled through her tears. The silence between them had finally spoken, and love had found its peace.